Okay, I'm going to put some ink on my pages for background. I came up with this idea of placement where I can put my designs on acrylic and help plan my pages when I'm not without putting them on. And I think this is really going to help me. So then I thought, well, not everyone will have acrylic. So my next idea, these are all my pieces. I thought of, how about transparency sheets, or this is a laminated sheet. You're going to laugh when you see what's on it. It's left over from Sunday school and grandkids. This is 8.5 by 11, and almost everyone has transparency sheets. So I thought we could put different things that are going to line up on top of a transparency sheet. I'm going to use my acrylic sheet, but this was just to show you the size. This is a 9 by 12 book, and I thought the size of this would be interesting. So I'm going to just take off my acrylic sheet, but this will help me have an idea where I need to have color. I want to add a little bit of texture paste later, and even that, you could use this for placement. This is a cutout I was going to use, and I didn't necessarily love it at the end, but here you can lay it on top and see about how much space it would use. So I think I could even use the cutout from Cricut for a stencil for the texture paste. And I probably won't try that yet, but again, the transparency lets you see through. Even if your page is wet, you could use the transparency on top and gives you an idea of how much room there is. Now, if you're just working and your book is drying, I took just a basic pad, close to my heart pad of table protectors, and I made a 9 by 12 section, and that will help me know where things are going. So I can plan out my 9 by 12 before I even get to the book if it's wet. Okay, so now I'm going to take the transparency off, and I'm going to use a little bit of what is it called? Ink. And try adding some ink. So for this page, I think I'm going to mostly just do the edges and blend into this page, because I'm not going to have much writing here. If I do, I'll have a Bible verse. So, and I don't know if you can see the difference in darkness here, but I also took, a clean dome applicator, and I used my Distress Glaze, and I covered all of Larry there, and I covered his face here, and I'm going to do that for my pictures so that even if ink gets around or whatever, this part will be protected and nothing will go on top of it. So that was just another idea I had. Okay, so I'm going to remove these pages, and I'll come back to those after we do our inking. Now I haven't inked in my journal yet. I've only been using acrylic paints, so I'm not sure how it's going to come out. But I do know that if you use ink at the end, you might want to add a bit of cover-up. So it won't, again, using the glaze, Distress Glaze or something like that. I'm looking to see what other color blues I have here. birdie has that in it. So I don't know if I want to use ink or Distress Oxide. But especially if I use a Distress Oxide, I want to put a protector over it afterwards. So let's just give this a try. And remember, this is lifted and the bird's going there. So I'm going to take that bird back. And I'm going to start very simply adding color to this bird. Now I'm using, let's see, what am I using? I'm using 2 different greens. I'm using fern and New England ivy. And I'm using 1 applicator for that. But I'm going to put just some fern around the edge of the paper that's going to be glued down. And I'm not sure if on the back I'll cut out the inside of this or not. And I think for the bird, let's see, what shall we use? I'm going to use just my basic vintage photo for the bird. Now, if you don't have a color applicator, remember, I do have a Distress Oxide there, but remember the domes just pop off. They're just a piece of Velcro there, so they pop off. So keep a few extra heads on there. I like to have a color for most of the ones I use all the time. So I'm going to just add a little bit of the vintage photo around my bird. And there will be another bird on the other side, and I'll add that same color, the reverse image. And since this is going over that, I'm going to add a little distress there too. Okay. So when this is on, it'll be going there. So I want my color to, if that's not going to be cut out, this is cut out. Let me see if you can see my finger. This is cut out. So I don't have to worry about any ink there. But I do need to worry about ink going through. So I'll put protector. So I need to start right around there. And I'm just going to make a mark. So there we go. And I know I have a picture here. So a long picture here and a oblong there. That's how it's going to be. So I don't have to worry much about in here, and I want this so a stencil leaf will show through. So this is where I want to go. And maybe a little bit more on the bird. So I'm going back to my green applicator, which is hiding. And this is New England ivy. I'm going to blend away from there and just put some of the fern there. Now this does not blend as well as the Distress Oxides, but I think I'll be happy with it. And there's quite a bit of texture with the gesso on it all, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And later we'll go around the edges and touch up after we get the photos on. Remember, there's a photo there, but I need to get this edge. Now, our flowers, I sort of thought they were like wisteria, and I might like just a little bit of wisteria down in the white part, but I don't want a lot of wisteria. So I'm going to have a light hand and just put a little tint of wisteria, because this is where I'm going to add, maybe a little more than that. This is where I'm going to add some texture paste. And I personally think wisteria goes beautiful with green. So I'll add a little there. And I want the top of my page to be a little light with the photo end, so I'm going to add some wisteria there. And a little bit on this edge. I like things in triangles, and I'm even going to do that with my colors. Okay. Now, this might be a good place to add some blue too. This one's going to be Distress Oxide. Actually blends well with the wisteria. Now, you all know this is still experimental for me. Just add a little blue down there. So we got 1, 2, we need a little blue here. And I wasn't sure about this, but I also think there's a little bit of peacock in the leaves of the tearing that I've done. And since I'm not painting, I might need a little peacock. Let's see, here's a clean sponge. So I'm just gonna put this up against the edge of this. If you remember correctly, the bird had some peacock in it. So I don't think a peacock will be bad. We've got a big picture here, little picture there. We'll go with a little bit of peacock here. So, and I could always add more flowers down here, but I think I'll add some peacock before. There's a line there that shows me where my paper is going. So we'll just add a little touch of peacock there. Now, probably the last place, just in case, I'm going to add a little more green in the empty spaces. When in doubt, use something that will blend well behind. And I'm going back to the new England Ivy, which is darker, but I think it'll blend well. And remember, I want to put leaves here with, so I'm not going to add a lot of color there. Now, before I finish this, just in case, I'm going to put that acrylic piece back on and see where I laid my photos, if it looks like it'll fit well. And I just realized we might need more color. We need some color here, because this is, so a little color here, and maybe right on the sparrow. Okay, so that's what I'll do now. I'll add some color to the sparrow. I'm lining it up where it's going to go. Who knows, maybe I'll even just open it a little. No, I think I like it to the edge. So that blue was wasted there. What was it? It was the peacock feathers. So since it was wasted there, let's add it. Because I like things to go in a triangle. So we'll add, I'm not sure how this will take it, so we'll add a little peacock there. And here, what colors I have underneath? Nothing. I think I'll add more green. go with the dark green, the New England Ivy. And this is over. We don't need to really read this. So we'll just add a little more color to where the peacock's going. I'm not sure about under his tail. I'd like his tail to show well. So without adding any more of that stormy sky, I'm just going to add a little bit. Oh, I have to add more. Maybe it was a lighter one. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to just add a little color here. Oh, that's perfect. Just a tad color. Because all I really wanted to show was that this was a sparrow. And that stormy sky goes really well with the face of the sparrow. Okay. Now, because this is just ink, it's all dry, we can flip this one over and do the back. And I have, let's see, a grayish blue there. So I don't need much color here, I'll just edge it later. But I want to go under those flowers. Leaves. So I want this part maybe to be that stormy sky again, because I think it goes really well with that chicken wire. So let's give that a try. Flipping this over, I will put something there just so the colors don't blend. Got quite a bit of bumps here, but it's going to be pictures on there, so I don't think it'll matter. Oh, I like it. Nice. Okay. And remember, I had that other page on a piece of plastic. No, that was that side. I haven't even decided this page yet, so it might have a lot of ink on it since I haven't decided. I want to get the inking done. So I might put a lot of ink. This is the dark again. I haven't glued that down yet. I'm just going to move my bird to keep her safe. Remember, I'm going to have the opposite sparrow right there, so that I just don't have to do near there if I don't want to. So we'll move Mr. Sparrow over, and let's add some dark. This is the New England Ivy again. It's funny, I thought I was going to like the purple, but I'm really falling in love with the stormy sky. There's some blue in the flowers too. I'm going to leave some open area for more color. Let's see. I think I'll put some dark up here going to light. So I'm going right over those leaves. Birds there, but I'm right over these leaves too. And just fade it out. Fade it out, also rub a little of my sponge off. Okay. Now, in here, just a bit of peacock to bring out the blue of the leaves. Let's see. I keep forgetting to put my things back in. Let's see. That's not peacock, is it? What color am I on? I don't want peacock, I want, yeah, I do want peacock. Okay. I think this is this dark one. So I'm just going to add a little color That's not, I don't like it. It's too light. So I'm gonna make it over that, go over that. So I'll just do a little bit and go over with green. Then the mixture might be nice. They're not like the Distress Oxides in that they blend really well, but let's see. Back to my favorite, greens and ivy. And just mix it in. Let's see, a little piece of hair there or something. And I'll just go in there. Okay. Now, I had wisteria on the last page and I wasn't as pleased with it. So I am going back to Stormy Sky, and that's going to be my last color here. Because it just looks great over here. And here it would be easy if we are adding any more stenciling or whatever with texture paste. So I'm sort of planning this as I go. And even though I planned out my colors a bit, one nice thing about inks is you don't have to wait so long to start your next step. So after this post, I might get busy and start gluing it together. And I think that's going to be it. So my main suggestions for you, I really wanted that wisteria, but maybe I just do some edges. When I'm all done, I'll do the edges. So my main suggestion to you, if you're not sure where, whoops, gotta reach over, excuse me, where everything's going, try placing it out first on a piece of plastic and laying it over, and that'll help you even if you're using paints and it's drying or you're on your gesso step. Now I'm going to try just putting some paint right in the corner here. And I'm going to go a little light. I did not end up using masking tape. Not masking tape, washi tape. So I'm going to put some fern on this sponge applicator and go right in the center. Paint's a lot easier to get in the crack, I'll tell you that much. But because this fits right in the area, I think that'll work. This might need to be taped down. This is one of my first places I did with the gel, and I can see it coming off a bit. So I'll add a little bit of glue there, just some tacky glue. Okay, and center this one. This one got into the center easier, so it's not bad at all. Okay, I'll let that dry a little bit, and I'll come back later after I upload and put my bird on and start a few pictures. So, hope you had fun following along. See you later. God bless.